Everyone's talking about Solana. Everyone's talking about Ethereum. But there's one blockchain that's been quietly doing something that neither of those can do, and almost nobody is covering it. I'm talking about SUI. And I've been tracking this coin's on-chain data for months now, and what just happened in the numbers? I couldn't stay quiet about it anymore. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why SUI could be one of the most important altcoins to watch in 2026. Let's get into it. Now look, if you've been in crypto for a while, you've probably heard of SUI. Maybe you dismissed it as just another layer 1 blockchain trying to compete with Solana. And honestly, that's what most people think. But here's the thing, that assumption is costing people big opportunities. Because when we look at the actual data, the on-chain numbers, the ecosystem growth, and who's starting to pay attention to this coin, the picture looks very, very different. So in this video, I'm going to break down 3 things: what SUI actually is and why it's built differently, why the data is starting to flash green right now in 2026, and what a realistic price outlook looks like going forward. Let's get into it. So first, what even is SUI? Because I want to make sure this makes sense even if you've never heard of it before. SUI is a layer 1 blockchain. That just means it's its own independent blockchain, like Ethereum or Solana, not built on top of another one. It was built by a team called Mistin Labs. And here's what's interesting. The founders actually came from Meta, the company behind Facebook. They were working on Meta's canceled crypto project called Diem. When that got shut down, they took everything they'd learned and built SUI. So right away, this isn't some random team that put up a white paper. These are people with serious technical backgrounds who've been building in this space for years. Now, the technology SUI runs on is called the Move programming language, originally developed at Meta. And what makes it special is how it handles transactions. Okay, so here's where it gets actually interesting. Most blockchains, Ethereum is a perfect example, process transactions one at a time in order. It's like a single checkout line at a grocery store. SUI processes transactions in parallel, multiple at the same time. It's like having 10 checkout lanes open at once. What does that mean practically? Lower fees, faster speeds, and a network that doesn't clog up when traffic gets high. That's been Ethereum's biggest problem for years, and SUI was built from day one to avoid it. Now, Solana also claims to be fast. So why SUI over Solana? Great question. The key difference is how they achieve speed. Solana achieves speed partly by trusting a small group of validators more, which comes with some centralization trade-offs. SUI's architecture distributes that processing more cleanly. For use cases like gaming, DeFi, and real-world asset transfers, SUI's model has some real advantages. I'm not saying SUI is better than Solana across the board, but I am saying it's solving real problems in a real way, and the on-chain data is starting to prove it. So let's talk about what's actually happening on-chain right now, because this is where it gets compelling. SUI's total value locked, that's the amount of money actively being used inside SUI's ecosystem, peaked at $2.6 billion in October 2025. That's a growth of over 100% in just 1 year. Even after the broader market pullback, TVL still sits in the $600 million to $1.4 billion range, depending on the source. That's not a ghost chain, that's real DeFi activity, gaming applications, and NFT marketplaces actually using SUI's infrastructure. Now here's something that really caught my attention. Grayscale, one of the biggest institutional crypto investment firms in the world, created a SUI trust product. That means institutional investors can now get regulated exposure to SUI. When Grayscale creates a trust for a coin, it's a signal that serious money is paying attention. And on the retail side, SUI Crypto is pulling over 61,000 monthly searches on YouTube right now with relatively low competition. Regular investors are waking up to this. Put it all together: strong technical fundamentals, $2.6 billion in peak TVL, institutional interest from Grayscale, and growing retail search demand. And you have the ingredients of a coin that's still early, but gaining serious momentum. Before I get into the price outlook, if you're finding this breakdown useful, it would genuinely help me out if you hit the like button and subscribe. We cover crypto news and market updates at CoinRush Daily every single day, and I'd love to have you in the community. All right, back to SUI. Now, I want to be real with you about price predictions, because a lot of channels just throw out big numbers to get clicks, and that doesn't help anyone. So let's look at the data logically. SUI hit an all-time high of around 535 back in January 2025, then pulled back hard with the broader market, dropping over 80% from that peak. That kind of cycle is painful, but it's not unusual for high-growth Layer 1 altcoins. Where does that leave us now in 2026? Multiple crypto analysts are projecting SUI to trade in the 0.72 to 141 range by late 2026, with more bullish scenarios putting it at 190 or higher heading into 2027 if altcoin season picks up following Bitcoin's next leg higher. I'm not your financial advisor. These are projections based on current ecosystem data, historical cycle patterns, and institutional positioning, not guarantees. What would need to happen for SUI to see significant upside? Continued ecosystem growth. More DeFi and gaming projects building on SUI. A broader altcoin season picking up, which historically follows Bitcoin making new highs. And regulatory clarity in the US, which we're already seeing progress on. What are the risks? Crypto is volatile, full stop. Any macro shock, any regulatory surprise, or any broader market pullback could hit SUI hard. And as a Layer 1 competing with Solana, Ethereum, and others, the competition is very real. So do your own research. Don't put in money you can't afford to lose. But do pay attention to this one, because the fundamentals are there and most people are still sleeping on it. So to recap, SUI is a next-generation Layer 1 blockchain built by ex-Meta engineers running genuinely differentiated technology with TVL that hit $2.6 billion at peak, institutional backing from Grayscale, and over 61,000 people searching for it on YouTube every single month. Is it talked about enough? Absolutely not. And that's exactly why I made this video. If you want to stay on top of moves like this, the coins flying under the radar before they blow up, make sure you're subscribed to CoinRush Daily. We drop updates every single day so you never miss a move. Drop a comment below. Are you already holding SUI, or is this your first time hearing about it? I read every single comment. I'll see you in the next one.